us. Remember, new episodes premiere every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. on TV 15 and across other social media platforms.
I'm Jasenia Lassiter, wishing you a wonderful week.
Stay friendly, St. Martin.
The Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, kids. What's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? We begin with the news of the Minister of Justice, Batman, is at it again. Pete put out my signal, my signal, my bat signal, because this man decided to be the vigilante he is, and decided to go for an employee of the National Detective today, Monday. This is what we know so far. On Friday, there was a court case that took place where this particular employee brought the Minister of Justice to court for some type of investigation that was supposed to be going on, but it was going too slow, and she didn't really agree with the basis of the investigation itself. So the judge then asked the Minister of Justice if they can, hurry up and execute this investigation because it's a little bit too much of a gray area. Batman decided to take that literal and decided to go on Monday to her office and tell her, okay, we're going to start the investigation. You can't be here while we're investigating, so go home. She was like, no, I'm not going. Lyndon was like, excuse me? I deal with Joker. I deal with the Riddler. I deal with Mr. Penguin. I deal with a bunch of villains already. No national detective's going to give me a headache. Alfred, call the police. Police came. Wee, wee, wee. Why the siren is so LGBTQ? Why? Wee, wee, wee. Wee, wee, wee. Anyway, so it's like Stuart coming to arrest you. Freeze. Anyway, so the police came to the National Detective office, which is so weird. You know why it's weird? Let me give you the structure of the police. The police is here. The National Detectives is here. You will never hear a police officer touching a national detective. You hear the name already, right? National detectives. These are the people who just arrest the politicians because they have that special authority too. So how does a police officer come and say, hey, move? What? But anyway, police came. Yo, I would be so vexed. And she had to be escorted out of the National Detective building. I don't understand. More details are going to be released soon. Hopefully, we're going to get the side of this particular employee of the National Detectives. Again, National Detectives normally don't get into the sauce of St. Martin because, again, National Detectives, St. Martin, the politician just on top. And then you got National Detective, and then you got Secret Service. So National Detectives is like almost to the top. Batman has no bounds. He's just going anywhere. Just before he goes to Parliament, he's making sure that he needs to do what he needs to do. Anyway, speaking about police. So, Lisa Alexander, remember from the OMC, If you don't know, now you know. You see this nice lady over here? So apparently, not apparently, she was arrested on Monday by the OM and the police department. The reason for the arrest had to do with fraud. So let me just bring you back there quick, just give you a quick lesson. So a couple of weeks ago during the heavy campaign, Lisa Alexander was placed on the list of the OMC. Before that, she was on the USP, then she was on PPA. I don't know if she did National Alliance, but she went on a lot of parties. So now, Lisa Alexander's profession is she's a professional accountant, and she does a lot of administrative work. She has her office on the Illich Road, right across from the immigration department. You can't miss it. And apparently she's been helping a lot of people with their immigration papers, even though the immigration department is like right across her road, across from our house, from our office. But yeah, so people go there and they pay a lot of money in order to help her with their immigration situation. Allegedly, she has been taking monies and not delivering. So she's taking the money, telling you need to pay now, pay. And then afterwards, you can't get her on the phone. And then when you finally catch her, she says on Monday. And then Monday reach, nothing. Then she says on Friday, nothing reach, bam. Then she don't answer your phone call anymore until you get frustrated and you let it go. The problem in St. Martin is it's small. And immigrants have this thing whereby they don't like to out themselves, because how do you go to the police and say, so I illegal, right? And I paid somebody to fix my paper, but they didn't deliver. Immigration will be like, come, let me go talk to an expert. Come with me. I'm gonna show you where to go. Come. And then send your backside back to the land which you migrated from. So the arrest has so much to do with that. And during the election season, everybody was asking, but so much people came, I think 2 or 3 people came to the forefront about the swindler, about the alleged situation with this woman taking money and not delivering. Why didn't the police just go and pick her up right away? I got answer to that. Investigation. It's a real thing, believe it or not. And sometimes investigations takes a while because they need to make sure that they cross all the T's and dot all the dots. Something don't sound right with that saying, Pete. Cross the T's and dot the I's. No, get the I's and put the T's on it. You understand what I mean? They have to be thorough. And like my good friend Alson would say, don't coax me any way that you want to. Don't try to blame me any other way. It's a hilarious clip. Go on my Facebook. It's right here. All right. So she is in holding at the moment. In 2 days, then she will see the judge, and then afterwards, most probably she'll be sent home until the trial itself. But they have a good amount of people that came forward, and police is asking anybody who has more information or was also swindled by Miss Alexander, allegedly, to come forward and get in contact with them so that, they could have a strong case. And I'm sure you have proof. Now, the problem is, if you do not have your paperwork, how do you go to the police and snitch on somebody who's supposed to fix your paperwork? Tricky, right? The answer is very simple. You call the anonymous hotline and you give them the information and you say your name is Jack, or your name is Todd, or your name is Bob. Okay? Now, the reaction of the OMC leader, because right after the elections, Lisa Alexander grew a conscience And she was like, you know what? This is not for me. I think I want to be back into society as a normal person. So I am resigning from the OMC. I'm going to give you the reaction from Olivier today after the arrest took place. First, I'm going to travel back into time and give you the video of Olivier talking about Miss Alexander when it was announced that she was going to be the number 2, 3, Pete. Lisa Alexander was 2, 3, 4. She was in the top 5. And you go and see for yourself that people came out of the woodwork and said that, you know, they were swindled by Miss Alexander, and Olivier was backing his candidate. Take a look.
My dear brothers and sisters, I get about 5 WhatsApp messages about Lisa Alexander. Lisa Alexander is a woman I know a very long time. She was born in Swaliga, and she has an accounting, immigration paper, forwarding work. And I sympathize with her because I remember when they used to call me con man too. But you know what I don't understand? This woman run on the USP party, you hear 0. She run on the National Alliance Party, you hear 0. She run on the DP Party, you hear 0. She run on the UP Party, you hear 0. So, she running now on the OMC, and you're hearing some claims from Judith Rameau and some other people about some monies that she has taken from immigrants that process paperwork, and they never got their residency back. They never got their residency or whatever they never qualified for, and now they want their money back. But the question is, I don't know what happened between them, and I don't know what happened between her and them. When I screen a candidate on the basis of criminal conviction and what kind of criminal conviction they have. And if the criminal conviction they have has to do with government misconduct, we don't get onto the list. And the reason why I chose to put Lisa Alexander on the list is because I think she's vast knowledge of the Constitution, and she can deal with me with my very tough debates, even though that there is some work I have to coach her in, but she will make a very good president of parliament. That's the reason why I chose Lisa Alexander. I didn't choose Lisa Alexander because I don't know about what could be said about her. Of course I do. But one thing I'm going to tell you, that is not my concern at all. What is my concern is the $7 million or guilders Richard Gibson leaked out together with Ansari. The $80 million that right now Sarah Westcott Williams needs to get Annie Westcott to wire back to the people of St. Martin. Those are the things I worry more about. But the scurf and turf of what basically is being posted by Judith Rameau and not being backed up by any kind of facts, any kind of moral facts, doesn't really concerns me at all. But she's from St. Martin. She was born here. And I've taken consideration of her tremendously, just like I've also done with all the other candidates. For example, there's somebody come and tell me, oh, yeah, you got a candidate there is a woman beater. Say, but let the woman come forward. But in reality, people will always say what they have to say against specific candidates, which is normal because this is the game of politics. But if you don't like any specific candidate on the OMC, it is okay. This is why you have the leader you can always vote for. But whatever you're saying about Lisa Alexander, would it considered that she will not be a good president of parliament? Think about that for a minute. Would she be a bad president of parliament? Someone that knows the ins and outs of the administrative aspect of government together with me. So can you imagine myself, Lisa Alexandra, Farley, Mario, and Lee Blackman, and Mr. Uncle Bob, and all the rest of us have the opportunity to be in Parliament and work in Parliament together with all that knowledge, especially with Clevey and the others? Can you imagine what will happen? I back up for my team. So for me, I know exactly what's in the closet of every member of my team. I don't care, basically. I don't really care. Because if she have stolen money from government, that would be a serious concern for me. But she's never been in government, never been elected. On the other hand, those who have this kind of conflict with Lisa, I want you to contact me and bring me the documentations. And when you bring in the documentations, I will evaluate them myself. And on top of that, those who Lisa have helped gain a resident permit, they should as well come out to her defense. Because it is unfair that you're being attacked, but those who you have helped is not assisting in that matter. Not that I'm putting my hand in fire for Lisa, but I'm definitely going to defend her record.
Okay. So now when it happened today, when the arrest took place, this is what Olivier said on voice note in his chat that you have to have an ID card to be part of. Take a look.
I just want to let everybody know that Lisa Alexandra has resigned from OMC a while back, right after election. She and a couple of guys. So I guess it is what it is. So I protected people too long. So now that they're not under my protection, they look like they're destroying them now because they know that I will not defend her honor. So pretty much that's it. Right now, you stand up with me at the funeral of my wife, and then right after that, you hit me a knife in my back. Hey, I tell you, boy, St. Martin is a special place.
Oh, Olivier. Anyway, welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Let's begin.
You've dreamt it. You've worked hard for it. And now you've got it. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor and know that you're covered in case of a disaster, like an unexpected fire or a vehicular collision. At Magical Insurances, we focus on settling your claims quickly and fairly so you can get back to enjoying your life. Magical Insurances, fast, fair, and always there.
New Gen. She my gang. Let's get ready for the party. Girl, why your body? Get ready for the party. Girl, why your body? Let's get ready for the party. Girl, why your body? Get ready for the party. Girl, why your body? Where the party tonight? Someone tell me where the party tonight. Where the party tonight? Someone tell me where the party tonight. Where the party tonight? When we come in our bed, tick tock, girl, wine to your head. Anytime I see a girl, you want to get wet. Burn like a cigarette, bend down, like a next. Slap up on your body, girl, shake up your leg. Burn like a cigarette, bend down, like a next. Slap up on your body, girl, shake up your leg. Everybody get mad.
At GEBE, we take the safety and quality of your water seriously. Every day, our dedicated sample collectors venture into the field, visiting the places that matter to you: water tanks, school, supermarkets, home, and high-risk areas. Once these samples return to our water quality lab at KB, they embark on a journey that safeguards your well-being. Our dedicated analysts take over, sending these samples to the microbiology and chemistry departments, respectively. This is where the magic happens. We test for a range of parameters, and we do this every single day, no matter what, including holidays and weekends. In our microbiology department, we focus on two major tests targeting various bacteria. Confirmation tests are conducted, and we have plans in place in case the results are confirmed. And then we do it all over again, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rain or shine, your water safety never takes a day off. So when you turn on the tap and enjoy a glass of GEBE's water, you can do so with confidence. GEBE, the power to serve.
All right, welcome back. Now, the credentials of the incoming member of parliament. Yes, 50 members of parliament going to be sworn in a couple of days from now. I believe it's the 20th or the 21st? Between the 20th and the 21st. A new parliament will be sworn in based on the results of the August 19 elections, okay? Now, of course, the parliament had its meeting where they had to verify the credentials as if people didn't vote for people. But anyway, they just went and they checked the credentials and said, oh my God, these people are so amazing. The people who are going to replace me are so amazing. Your highlights of the parliament meeting on Monday, where they approved the credentials of the incoming 15 members of parliament.
We go over to agenda point number 2 for this meeting. On August the 19th, 2024, in accordance with the National Decree of May 21st, 2024, number LB 24/401, as amended by the National Decree of May 27, 2024, LB 24/406, November the 8th, 2023, LB 23/564, early elections took place for the Parliament of Country St. Martin as prescribed by the provisions in the Constitution as well as the election ordinance. By this decree, Parliament was to be dissolved or is to be dissolved on September 20th, 2024, and a new Parliament is to sit on September 20, 2024, based on the elections held on August the 19th of this year. On September the 16th, 2024, Parliament received a letter from the President of the Central Voting Bureau informing Parliament that Mr. Richnel Brugh, Mr. Egbert Doran, Ms. Melissa Gums, Mrs. Grisha Heiliger Martin, Mr. Artwell Irian, Mr. Viren Kotai, Mr. Francisco La Cruz, Mr. Lyndon Lewis, Mr. Luc Mercelina, Mr. Franklin Myers, Mr. Omar Otley, Ms. Shamira Roseberg, Ms. Ludmila De Weaver, Mrs. Sarah Westcott Williams, and Mr. Darrell York accepted their election as members of Parliament. This document is registered as incoming document IS 037 of the parliamentary year 2024-2025. In the period of September 6th through September 16th of this year, Parliament received the credentials from the 15 elected members of Parliament and a letter indicating whether or not they have a public function. In addition to that, the elected members of Parliament also submitted a letter indicating that they have not acted in contravention of the National Ordinance Registration and Finances of Political Parties. Those who have not been a member of Parliament before also submitted an extract from the census office as required. These documents are all registered under the incoming documents number. As members of the committee, I will appoint MP Silveria Jacobs, who is also the chairperson of the committee, MP Omar Otley, and MP Rishnell Bruch. I now ask the clerk to hand over the credentials and the pertaining documents to the committee so the committee can verify these. Members of Parliament, please note that the meeting of Parliament is not adjourned while the committee verifies the credentials of the elected members of Parliament. At this time, the committee is collecting the documents from the Secretary General of Parliament as the other members take their seat. And again, I remind all that this meeting is not adjourned during the vetting of the credentials. MP Jacobs, having been the first name called, will preside over the committee for the verification of the credentials of the incoming members of Parliament. This process is a necessary process in order for the persons whose credentials have been approved by Parliament to then go through the oath taking in order to take on the position of Member of Parliament as per the 20th of this month. The committee will be verifying the credentials of all 15 members-elect. I now give the floor to the chairperson of the committee for the verification of the credentials of the MPs-elect. I give the floor to MP Jacobs. MP Jacobs?
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to you, my colleagues here in the committee, the members of parliament here present, the Griffier, and all those following this broadcast. Good morning to the people of St. Martin. Madam Chair, the committee has verified the credentials and all the documents that have been submitted are in order and as the law prescribes. We advise for Parliament to approve the credentials of Mr. Richinal S. J. Brug, Mr. Egbert J. Doran, Ms. Melissa D. Gums, Mrs. Grisha S. Helga Martin, Mr. Artwell M. R. Irian, Mr. Viren V. Kotai, Mr. Francisco A. La Cruz, Mr. Lyndon C. J. Lewis, Mr. Luke F. E. Marcelina, Mr. Franklin A. Myers, Mr. Omar E. C. Otley, Ms. Shamira D. M. Roseberg, Ms. Ludmila N. L. DeWeaver, Mrs. Sarah A. Westcott Williams, and Mr. Darrell T. J. York. Thank you, MP Jacobs, Chairperson, as well as the other members of the committee for executing this important task for Parliament, and you are hereby discharged of your duties. Thank you once again. The committee has proposed to approve the credentials of the following MPs-elect: Mr. Brug, Mr. Doran, Ms. Gums, Mrs. Grisha Heiliger Martin, Mr. Artwell Irian, Mr. Viren Kotai, Mr. Francisco La Cruz, Mr. Lyndon Lewis, Mr. Luc Mercelina, Mr. Franklin Myers, Mr. Omar Otley, Ms. Shamira Roseberg, Ms. Ludmila de Weaver, Mrs. Sarah Westcott Williams, and Mr. Darrell York. Does Parliament agree with this proposal? I see no objections to the proposal by the committee for the approval of the credentials of the members mentioned. And now that the Parliament has agreed to approve the credentials of Mr. Brug, Mr. Duran, Ms. Gums, Mrs. Heiliger Martin, Mr. Irian, Mr. Kotai, Mr. La Cruz, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Mercelina, Mr. Myers, Mr. Otley, Ms. Roseberg, Ms. De Weaver, Mrs. Westcott Williams, and Mr. York, I will, in accordance with Article 122, Paragraph 1, subletters A, B, and C of the Election Ordinance, immediately notify the Governor, the Vice Chair Lady of the Central Voting Bureau, and the persons admitted. Before going over to congratulating the incoming members, I want to mention that we had also received a notice of absence from the member La Cruz. I omitted his name when mentioning those who had given notice.
Now, just so that you're not confused, ladies and gentlemen, the people who are coming in to replace the ministers and people who are in Parliament who are going to be ministers and then they're going to be replaced, we're not at that stage yet. Right now, we're just at a stage of the new Parliament of St. Martin taking office in the week of the 20th of September. As soon as that happens, then it goes into the screening and the whole replacement, and then the ones that there who are going to be ministers are going to then resign as members of Parliament so that they could take full-on ministers. And yes, the ministers who are there or who are continuing in the Council of Ministers have to be rescreened. Yes, it doesn't matter if it happened a couple of months ago and it took so long, they got to do it again. FYI. All right. What else we have? Now, the airport. Yes, the Princess Juliana International Airport. They opened their school of tours for one of the primary schools. Pretty nice. G Money with this clip.
What's going on, y'all? G Money here, and today's a really special day here at the Princess. We have the Hillside Christian School, which is coming to take a tour and to get on JetBlue. They did a big project at school, and today the Princess has surprised them. So follow me downstairs as we go surprise the kid, restoring a princess.
Hillside Christian School.
Come and see how I transformed my classroom into an airport for our social studies topic, transportation. First, we headed to the airport where the students were lined up with their passports and suitcases ready to check in. After checking in, the students received their boarding passes, gave their bags, and off they went, headed over to security. They followed the arrows until they met the security and scanner checkpoint, where of course they placed all their items into a bin. Shoes, passports, and not forgetting their belts. At the security checkpoint, the students were reminded to stand still so that the scanner would be able to do its job. They headed to the waiting room, waiting for JetBlue to make its appearance. Soon enough, the flight was called and we started boarding. The students were reminded to have their passports and boarding passes in their hand. Just like any regular flight, they were reminded to sit properly and put their seatbelts on. This was a flight we did not want to miss. This flight was a bit bumpy, but it's okay. We made it safe and sound to our destination. So remember we did the airport, right, in our classroom? So listen, you know what happened? The real airport wants us to come and visit them. So we're going to the airport.
So, today is the big day. The day we visit the Princess Juliana International Airport. Wow! We was amazed how big the airport was. We had the pleasure of meeting Miss Z.
Who's good at finding clues? You guys are good at finding clues? Okay, that's good. Any help you can ask me, but I have my own helper that will be helping me today. Can you guys guess who? You think it's G Money Money? You think G Money Money is gonna help me? There's my helper.
And then we got to meet G Money.
What's up, guys? What's up? How are you? What's happening? You guys ready for the tour? Yeah. Everybody gonna get a scavenger hunt map? You guys got your hands full already.
We got to the scavenger hunt where we had to find certain things in the airport. We saw so much cool stuff at the airport. And then we had to find the check-in counter. And that's when we got our boarding passes to go upstairs by the departure hall.
We going JetBlue? We going Santo?
I am looking for Madison. There you are.
First, we have to use our boarding pass to enter the e-gates. That was fun. We went up the stairs to security.
Anybody know what goes inside the bin?
Shoes,
belt, what else? Your watch.
Very good.
Very good.
We went through the screening process. Then security make sure that we was okay. Now it's time to go through passport control, where we met Officer Andy, who looked at all of our passports. Our travel continues upstairs in the departure where we have to find gate A1.
We found A1! Yeah!
Now we found gate A1. We sat and waited until JetBlue to land it. And the moment finally came. I was so excited. And then we heard this.
May I have your attention, please, to all students on Hillside Christian School. You're now welcome to board on JetBlue Flight 788 with services to JFK, New York, out of Gate A1.
We all scan our passports as we get ready to board JetBlue. We follow Miss Z onto the jet bridge to board the plane. And the plane was so big and it had a lot of seats. We even got to meet the captain. What was his name again? Captain Richard.
Thank you for allowing the kids to come on the aircraft and really experience what it is to be a passenger on the JetBlue aircraft.
It's funny, this is the first time I've ever flown into this airport.
Oh, wonderful. Well,
I've
welcome.
been at JetBlue for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I've never flown into this
So
airport.
I'll be seeing
My
you
first
back
time.
soon again?
I will.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for having us.
We were treated to lunch. Then we met Mr. Orvin and his JetBlue staff. They were so friendly.
I must say they were really well behaved.
Then came a big surprise for teacher Tunisia.
This is a certificate present to you for your dedication and hard work and enthusiasm for the airport. So that's what I would like to give you first.
It was actually 2 surprises.
I'm a CFO, so only the real money counts. That's why we send you.
Then we got another surprise, a gift from all of us from the airport. And then we got another gift from JetBlue. This is a day I will never forget. We had so much fun. Thank you, Princess Juliana International Airport. Thank you, JetBlue.
Hey guys, it's been a wonderful day here at the Princess with the Christian Hillside School. Thank you, Tanisha, teacher Tanisha. It's been a wonderful job. Thank you, Z, very much.
You're welcome.
Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, more late night. Stay with us. Relax. No, relax. Where you going?
Did you know I just signed up for Flex by Telem?
Do you mean flex like this?
Definitely not that.
Do you mean flex like this?
No, definitely not that.
Do you mean flex like this?
No, definitely not Flex like that. Telem's Flex is a mobile plan that adapts to your needs. Each month, I get a preset monthly fee that has a set amount of data, SMS, and minutes. so I know what I'm getting. But say goodbye to overages and bill shock, because when I go over my postpaid plan, it switches to prepaid. So I have the flexibility to top up what I need when I need it. I'm in complete control. My budget, my rules.
Hello, my people. Make sure you tune in to Sit, Sip, and Chat every Monday at 5 p.m. on TV 15 and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.
And make sure tune in to the Late Night Show with Andrew Dick from Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. with a repeat in the afternoon for no reason. In the afternoon, the Late Night Show at 3 p.m. Thank you, TV 15.
Thank you, TV 15. Make sure to tune in.
Make sure to tune in to the Late Night.
And Sit, Sip, and Chat.
Late Night.
All right, now, Denisio Bryson, the jurist, was on the Oral Gibbs radio program, Hot 99, and I think he was on Speaking of Everything. It was hilarious. Why it was hilarious was because Denisio was savage. Savage Denisio, I must say. The man said, if you want to murder your wife, come and bring her to St. Martin. I was like, Denisio, carry on. This man, he didn't say his wife. He didn't say our wife. He said, if you want to murder somebody, bring them to St. Martin. That's a strong statement to make. But he gave context. Please, take a look at this clip.
The less said about it, the better. Let's hope that the authorities conduct a thorough investigation, because we know it's a common joke that if you want to kill somebody, you want to murder somebody, bring them to St. Martin, because it will not be solved. And it would not surprise me if right now that case is not in the cold case file already.
You know, I was told by someone in law enforcement that it's easier to solve a crime in New York City than St. Martin. Can you imagine that? A city with, what, 8.5 million people to an island with just over 100,000 people.
I'm still walking around perplexed at how they have not been able to solve the murder of David Priest. Remember, he was shot a couple of years, about 10, 15 years ago at Casablanca?
Yeah.
He was coming to meet me. I was sitting waiting on him when I got a report that he had been shot.
Wow.
When I rushed there, I found this debacle. And up to now, I cannot understand, with all the amount of contacts, leads, etc., that case has remained unsolved. And I used to go to the police and ask them, you know, once a year, I used to make it my business to go and ask, what are you doing about it? They had zero interest. That was already in
that's the key word you use.
Yeah.
Zero interest.
That case was already in the cold, you know, the cold case file?
Yeah.
That was down in the cold case file. And I hope, but I have the impression that Olivier's wife murder is sliding towards the cold case file.
Yeah, and then, you know, I said it was a tragedy.
It was not only a tragedy, it was a tragedy of, I would say, of Greek comedy proportions. It was like something that played out of something that somebody wrote, a script, that he would come to the island, he would get involved, and this tragedy befall him.
Yeah.
It is too bizarre.
And the thing is, you know, a lot of people liked it because you could say what you wanted, but here you had this lady taking her partner's back, watching his back. You don't often try and get that.
I was surprised at how she stood by him.
Yeah.
The key point, though, and this is the last I'll say about Mr. Olivier, is this: he made a lot of enemies.
Well, St. Martin's is a unique island. I can tell you from experience. You can have a lot of enemies that you don't know either.
Well, but he went out and poked a stick into the wasp nest. He made a lot of enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
I hope you haven't made any enemies today.
Every television show I do, If I didn't make a friend or enemy, it's because I didn't say anything.
But you didn't do your job properly.
So that's a part of the business. You're only as good as your last show. And I've said things earlier in this interview with you, where I blame us as a people for some of our own problems, and we don't want to hear that. We don't want to reflect on what we're doing as a people. We always look at outside and blame others for problems that we have caused, but we don't want to admit, and that's unfortunate. And I said it here on this interview with you earlier in the interview, in reference to the relationship with the Dutch, etc.
I'm going to quote you, Bill Parcells, the ex-coach of the New York Giants football team. He said this: "You are what your record says you are." And what is our record? 12 governments in 14 years.
That is it for the Late Night Show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, don't bring nobody here to murder them, please. We have enough bad press around here. All right? Don't forget Raw Caribbean on YouTube. Subscribe and watch all your favorite programs from the great people at Great Bay Studios. We great because it's Great Bay Studio. You get it? No? Okay. You'll get it one day. Now, of course, great productions. We continue to roll them out. But, of course, also on the Facebook page. So we have a channel now on WhatsApp. Yeah, I didn't know you could have a channel on WhatsApp. It's so cool. So you can subscribe to that channel, and you get all the latest contacts from Great Bay. All the latest content from Great Bay Studios. Yeah, enjoy yourself with some good local content. Yes, it's going to be nice. All right, Late Night Show. See you tomorrow. Have a good one.